Buckle that belt.
The neighbor is already threatening to call the cops. He's pissed.
If you get anxious, man, you just pop these little guys.
People out here looking like Paul Feinbaum trying to tell us what to do with our hair.
In my overserved state, I went to the wrong
House.
No, it was the right house.
Okay.
Dive bar means the beer is cold, the drinks aren't too expensive, and the hamburgers are great.
They are a unified front in doing their very best to keep me between the proverbial navigational beacons. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Marty Smith podcast here at Outsider. Marty's here, Wesley's here, Travis is here, discussing the 2007 Sugar Bowl, or whatever year it was. What year was it, Travis?
2010, 2011,
2010
that
Sugar
year.
Bowl.
Yeah. Well,
Who
the
won?
2007 Sugar Bowl would have been
DMC?
Georgia.
Oh, that was Georgia? Okay, well,
Yeah.
at least I was in the somewhere near the right ballpark. I've noticed, by the way, Travis is here, Wes is here, Marty's here. We got an amazing show for you guys today. I had the opportunity to interview Devin White, the middle linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, about all things LSU. He was all-world down in Baton Rouge. He's already a Super Bowl champion and an all-pro with the Tampa Bay Bucs, and we'll get into all of that here in just a bit. But before that, Wesley and I have to catch up. Travis has on yet another Jam shirt from his great friends at Homage. I don't know how to say it. How do you say it? How do y'all say that word?
It's a silent G, right?
I call it homage.
Homage.
I don't think it's homage. I think that I don't think
it's
that's
an
correct.
homage. An
I don't
homage.
know. Listen,
That would be a silent
100%,
H, by the way, Wes, not a
100%.
silent G.
100% homage.
are we the podcast that is supposed to be telling people how to pronounce things?
We're not. In fact, that is the last thing that we should be attempting to do. Quite a week for the Smiths. Made our way back from the beach. As you can see, I'm back at the Lake Norman.
Marty, is your mic on? I know that we're in the show now, but it sounds like it's your.
Well, I mean, Travis said it was. Hold on.
Sounds like an echo. doesn't it?
Hover over the mic button on your computer.
Okay. Hold on. Mic button.
A little live producing here. Live engineering.
All right, we've now fixed my equipment. This is the first time that I've ever done a podcast before, so
Oh, man.
our equipment is now operating on full tilt. The Smiths made their way back from the Jersey Shore. Last couple days, I came back on Friday with all three youngins and the dog and a Ram pickup truck packed to the gills. And
Marty, tell me about that drive, man.
It's lengthy. The thing about it is, though, it's like anything in life. I say all the time, life is context and repetition. And we have repeated that drive time and time again, so we have a very distinct route home. I hate Interstate 95. Just for the record, I think it's the worst driving experience in these United States of America. And Friday only confirmed and validated my disdain for Satan's sidewalk. And I will never get over what it's like to drive on that road. Invariably, there are hiccups. And normally that drive is somewhere in the 9:30 to 10 hour range. And that is with a couple stops for food, a couple stops to heed nature's call, whatever it may be, okay? Had all three kids with me again, so we stopped to eat a few times. I'm really neurotic because of my dad, although Lainey will walk downstairs and rebut this when I'm on
Where do y'all
trips.
go? Do you find like a stream and catch like some fresh trout to accommodate your
We do, yeah.
nutritional
On this,
demands?
you know, I'm definitely a great white hunter, so
Dude, I feel like that's what road trips used to be like, though. And I never went on one like that. But you go and look at like America's history. You go across the country. You're doing road trips with your family. You gotta live off the land a little bit. You can't just stop off at Buc-ee's and pick up a Slim Jim.
well, Lewis and Clark, you know, I mean they forage their way across the land. All the people in the California Gold Rush, all of those Boomer Sooners, made their way. And,
Oregon Trail.
She was a girl on a wagon train. Do you guys know that song? Lonesome Dove, Garth Brooks?
I'm going to pretend like
No.
I do.
Yeah, well, we can't use that anyway because we can't afford it. So Travis is going to have to beep all that out in the first
And
place.
he would come after us.
He would.
Garth,
Garth
yeah.
would 100% come after us for me singing the first 6 words.
Garth's hacked into this live stream right now just in case.
First
Just in
8
case.
words.
But-
yeah, man, cool stuff, neat stuff, cool stuff.
So, speaking of I-95, did some on-the-fly research. According to the NHTSA's data, I-95 is the most dangerous highway in the United States. In 2019, it had the highest number of overall fatalities, and 284 in fatalities per 100 miles, which was at 14.88.
Fatalities per 100 miles was 15. That is, those are not beneficial numbers. But, yeah, I mean, it's like from wherever it begins in Maine or Vermont or Massachusetts or wherever, all the way to South Beach, Miami. That road stinks. I mean, Lainey was on it. She drove back on Sunday, and the line was red forever and ever, amen. It's always something. And I will say every time that we emerge unscathed and intact, I do send up a thank you.
Yeah, you got to thank the Almighty after
Yep.
that one.
Grateful that we were not involved in any of that stuff. But it's just, McGee calls it the devil's blood vessel. I call it Satan's sidewalk. It's just a bitch, period. It's just a bitch to drive on I-95, and I will go out of my way for a long way. Like the easiest route, the most direct route to the New Jersey shore is leave my house, go out to I-85, take I-85 north to I-95 north, I-95 north all the way to 295, and then you catch, Laney and I catch some back roads once we get up to New Jersey. Mm-hmm. I do not do that. I go Interstate 77 to Interstate 81 to Interstate 70 east to, west coming home. On and on. Like I go around 95 as much as possible and stay off of it as much as possible.
Yeah, Dogs fans, they go down to Jacksonville, and I know a lot of them avoid I-95 as well. It's just universally hated, it seems like.
Well, just count me as the president of the I-95 hatred unit.
Do you guys remember on road trips, you used to get the AAA triptychs that have like your directions mapped out for you before GPS was
I
a
remember
thing?
printing out like Google Maps, like step by step.
Yeah, I remember the days of hardship when you actually had to get a Funkin' Wagnalls map.
Beg pardon?
Yeah, watch your mouth. You had to get, they actually had like atlases. You could go to the Sam's Club, all right, or you could go to the...
You're buying them in bulk.
Yeah,
you
you
get
could-
atlases you don't even need.
Go down here to Farm Bureau, and they would give you a map, like a book, a big-ass Bible of maps of every state. And you actually had to, like, open the thing up and find your route. And like Leo, like my dad would find the route. He would write out the route longhand and use highlighters to separate the various roads. That's who my dad was. Like my dad, I think for a minute, Daddy even might have gone pocket protector on us. I'm not sure, not positive, but I do remember he had croakies on his eyeglasses, which is that's an esteemed level right there. Wes, do you use croakies on your shades?
Nah, I'm not that frat-tastic. But
What about
I think
you,
the
Rocco?
croakies,
What's croakies?
We
the
mean, what's
connotation of
croakies?
croakies used to be really nerdy, right? Like your librarian had the little strap to keep the glasses on, and now it's it's like the fratty thing.
Oh no,
Is
Put
it?
on your sunglasses?
Did it get cool? Because in my world,
It was
it's
kind of fratty. I don't know.
I
If
think
you
I don't think it's
fratty
that
is cool.
unless the only exception is on a boat. Because you don't,
yeah,
you,
so
you,
they'll
you
float.
don't want to lose your sunglasses, or they'll float if you do.
Well, I would rather chance losing my shades, I think. But that's just me. My buddy Jody, I pick on my buddy Jody all the time because not only is Jody still Captain Croakies, he's also still Private Pleats. He still has pleated khakis and rocks the hell out of those things. It's,
Where's his wife at? Is he married?
He's been married for 23 years now, Travis, to
Yeah.
a
They need a
beautiful
court.
woman
They need a court
named
martial.
Tammy, who
private
really
pleats.
needs our prayers.
But maybe here's
Yeah.
the thing though: if she likes it, then
He's on
it's
my
like,
prayer
listen,
request list now.
it's not worth it.
Well, you know, one thing I appreciate in this life is knowing exactly who you are and being exactly who you are.
I'd be said for it.
Jody Steger has no problem in that regard.
Though I will say that every person needs a friend that can look at him and be like, bro, you can't wear that out in public.
Well, you gave me a whole bunch of grief, and then I will say this too. When I was in Nashville, Tennessee for the Outsider event at the Whiskey Jam, the next day I forget why. Like it was a couple days later, I guess.
Oh, that's when Travis slept in your bathtub. I remember.
Travis was kind enough to bring me some hydration powder, couple acai bowls to try to reignite my pilot, and he was giving me down the river about the fact that I had on white Nike Prestos, like white out shoes, just all white.
Well, a lot of us were giving you hell that night because you were like bound to get bar tar all over them at the event, and they could not have been crisper, whiter Nike Prestos.
I'm not sure how I emerged unscathed, but I did. And the next couple days, you know, I'm hanging out with people that are heroes to me. And Travis goes, hey, man, because Travis has some, what does OCD stand for? Obsessive compulsive, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Travis has some obsessive compulsive tendencies.
Sure.
And one of those is he could not handle the fact that I had on black footy socks with my white shoes. And I was like, I mean, who cares? It doesn't matter. It looks good. And he was not into that.
Like
well,
below the ankles, can't even see them.
No.
Let me tell you.
No, I could see the socks. That was the problem. He needed no-show socks.
Laney has your back because the other day I went and played my best golf round ever.
I've been wanting to hear about this one. You don't talk about your golf game very much, so I assume you had some stories to tell.
Played my best round ever, and I get home, and I'm sharing about my best round ever with my beautiful bride, and she informs me, Martin, you should have worn white socks because I had on white golf pants. I had on all white Nike Air Max 90s and black Jordan socks.
Thank you.
And she felt like I looked like Steve Urkel.
Do you notice every time that you like say that I'm doing something wrong, I'm on the side of Laney? You notice that?
Well, I
I'm
can
trying
tell
to
you
visualize that, and I just don't know. Maybe this says a lot about me, but I don't know that I would have had a problem with it if I did it.
Now, apparently it was a faux pas, Wesley.
Yeah, you got.
Maybe you could have done like some. Maybe you could have done like some baby blues, like some powder blue socks or something.
Baby blue. We can't afford that either. Love you.
Yeah,
Gene.
we're in trouble.
No-show socks. That's
big
what you need,
copyright
Marty.
trouble.
Like, do I need to
I know.
buy some for
I know
you?
that now. Trying to get this microphone out of the way. Can you still hear me all right?
I mean, it can stay in the shot. At least you're using it now.
Yeah, at least I am using it.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
fashion. You know, everyone's got a bad fashion friend. One of our buddies, I'm not going to name him.
Name
but,
it.
Say his name.
He doesn't mind.
Well, his name's David.
David.
David Coffey. And one of our buddies was a groomsman in his wedding, and he asked him, hey, man, what do I need to wear to the rehearsal? What's the dress code? And David is the groom, and he says, something business casual, maybe like a golf shirt and some cargo shorts. And that's not necessarily my definition of business cash, but old David Coffey was all about it, my man.
Where are you with cargo shorts?
Nowhere.
Nowhere? They're
Cargo
completely
shorts and
out
I
of your
are
repertoire?
nowhere together.
But were they in? They were in your repertoire, certainly, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Oh, in high school? Hell yeah.
Travis,
2000.
where are you with cargo shorts?
No. Like in high school, yes, that was the thing, but they're no longer in. I recently, not too long ago, like I just had to realize that like my shorts, my khaki shorts were too long for like the new style, so I had to update that. So we did that. I will say I will give cargo shorts a pass to one sector and one sector only.
Adam Sandler?
No, dads, because you need your like some food in your pockets and your keys and your phone, your wallet and toys.
Well,
the Sam's Club has 4 varieties of iron belted cargo short. I don't know if that means the belt is included, but they've got it in wheat and camo.
I mean, that's a pretty good haul. If you got
Tobacco.
wheat and camo.
Graphite. These are the names of the colors. Tobacco. I mean, how do you not get that if you're a dad?
So the thing that gets me right now, Travis made me think about the fact that these younger dudes, okay, they wear these like swimming trunks. They wear these board shorts called chubbies.
Oh, I've got 2 pairs of them.
Of course you do. So these things are so short. I feel like you got to be pretty careful because there might be some obscene gestures falling out the bottom of these things if we're not careful. If you move the wrong way,
netting reinforcements.
No. So here's the thing, though. They have a specific line that has built in like compression shorts into the shorts. So you have like so you're good.
I mean, the compression short is from everything that I've seen from my godsons, etc., kids on the beach who are wearing these things.
Well, it depends on the length that you go with. I mean, I think I have a 7.
It could get dicey real fast.
I did 7-inch. I think you can go all the way. You can go like 5 and some. I think you maybe even a little less. But like I go 7, so I've got enough. Like
there are 100 jokes to be told right now. Like they're just
you do need to be careful about the length. That's for sure. You got to know your length.
Every single joke is right there on a tee, and I am just jonesing to swing away.
You want me to make it. You want someone else to make it.
I do.
You want Travis to make the joke.
I know it's right there for y'all. Just swing away, boys.
Yeah, you will be swinging away if you don't have the right
correct
inch measurement on your chubbies.
Got to be careful with those things. You better have them.
And I just made the intro of the podcast. Cold open.
Not only do you need to make sure that you're aware of the length, you better hope that there is some snug compression lining in those bad boys.
Oh, they are, and they're the most comfortable swim trunks I've ever had.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoy them, Travis.
I got I think flamingos on one of mine, pink flamingos.
What's the other one?
Like a
palm trees or something?
No, more like
it's like an Ohio State helmet.
I wish
with Buckeye stickers on it.
It's like an Aztec kind of motif. Is that the word to use? Design?
I don't know, man. Fine. You've taken us down a dark road, darker than I-95 itself.
Well, I got sidetracked. I'm sorry.
So back to
how did we even get there?
Back to your golf game. You almost broke 100, right?
Almost broke 100. Never done that even remotely before. Now, like, what you got to understand about my golf game is I've played golf, and I mean this, maybe 15 times in my life, okay? And the vast majority of those experiences were at, like, charity, best ball tournaments, that kind of thing. I've only played my own golf ball 3 times ever. And so I played my own golf ball and shot 101.
Wait. You mean like ever?
I mean it. I'm not kidding you.
Or
ever,
you mean
ever.
in the scrambles?
No. I mean, I've only played my own golf ball. Like, I've played rounds of golf with other guys where everybody played their own ball 3 times. And this was the 3rd time I've ever done it.
All right.
And
I know what you're putting down.
I lost 3 balls, which is probably also a new career record for me. I shot a couple 9s, which is apropos. But I had never hit a 60 in my life. And I had to rent these clubs because mine were in Charlotte at the time, and I was playing at Great Bay Club in Summers Point, New Jersey with Uncle Joe. And I love that club. I'm going to order one right now. Plus, my boy Ryan Owens gave me another lesson, which also helps when you have a professional that is helping you with your golf swing.
Now,
It's beneficial.
did you have like the proper amount of alcohol in your system, or like where were we at with that?
Did not have a drink until the 14th fairway.
Wow.
And that was by design.
So
All I've ever done.
were you riding in a cart with like someone else in the charity? Did you know who you were playing with? Or
So
did
this last round was not a charity round. It was a
Okay.
round.
real
and-
deal.
It was just him and Uncle
deal.
Joe, right?
Yeah, and a couple of other buddies of his from his golf
gotcha.
league, Mike and Bob. Mike's the best player in the club,
Mm-hmm.
and Bob is an older gentleman who is just aces. Great dudes. All they wanted to hear was stories about Ricky Fowler and Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth and John Rahm and Brooks Koepka.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told many.
Man, that LIV, gosh,
They wanted to know all about live golf.
what's going on with the LIV?
By the way, how about Willie Z? It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time until Will Zalatoris broke through and won his first PGA event. He wins the FedEx St. Jude Championship, first round of the FedEx Cup playoff, and is now the number 1 seed in said playoff. And, I mean, that guy has been just so close so many times. You knew it was going to happen. And it was awesome. Like, he is so composed all the time. And to see that unbridled emotion come out of him when he made that putt was awesome to witness. I love it when you see those uber composed guys just look right at all the detractors and go, what the flip are you going to say now?
Who do you think you are? I am.
Right. And Wes actually shared a tweeter machine with us from, speaking of Adam Sandler and cargo shorts. But Adam Sandler hoops in cargo shorts. That's why I said Adam Sandler.
That man,
He can hoop, man.
That man has not let money change who he is.
I love that.
No.
I love everything about that. That's who, again, we want authenticity. We want belonging. We want relatability. That's what we want as consumers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's all of them. And he shouted out Willie Z after the victory. Correct, Wesley?
Yeah, so if you've seen Happy Gilmore, his original caddy is that dweeby-looking, like, pencil neck, bleach blonde hair kid. And people made jokes, on Zalatoris' original kind of coming out party. I guess it was a couple years ago at the Masters.
Augusta National, yep.
And he looks like this kid. Now, I think he's grown up. He's like enhanced his image a little bit. He looks like more of a man now. And he's a winner now. But Adam Sandler is in on the joke, very self-aware, and he congratulated his caddy, Zalatoris, which was a really nice touch.
I mean, if you're Will Zalatoris and Adam Sandler is congratulating you on your win, I mean, you imagine how surreal it must be. Kind of like when Kathy Ireland told me that she liked my book.
Was that the best compliment you ever got?
I mean, look, man, ESPN's a funny thing. So many people watch that channel, but you don't consider that. Like, it's not something you think about. You just do your job, and you're doing your very best to be as prepared as you can and as articulate and concise, which is not easy for me. Producers are constantly yelling at me to rap. But as you make your way through, and for example, when I was in Nashville, George Kittle, so O.J. Howard walks over, and he's like, hey, man, what's up? And I've known O.J. because I covered him at Bama. And he's like, come here, man. I got a guy who wants to say what's up. And it was George Kittle. And we had the nicest conversation about his perspective or perception of the way that I operate in this job. And it was very humbling. And you just don't think about that. And maybe, who knows, maybe Will Zalatoris does. I don't know. But
that's a lot of tight end talent to just be hanging out.
It was Tight End U. They were shooting that Tight End U show over at Vanderbilt. Travis and I wandered over there one day. We got invited over there by George, and we showed up, and some guys were a little bit tardy, and it was 140 degrees on the field turf. And so Travis and I went and got another beer at the pool.
Yeah.
at the
I wanted to make it. Had to get back home.
Soho House Hotel.
I played tight end in high school and was ready to teach those guys a thing or two.
All right, let's go. Wes, blowing people up from the tight end position.
But they missed out.
Maybe Coffee
right.
maybe Coffee Town can host tight end you next time.
Hold on. Can y'all see that? My mom found this the other day.
Look at that
My light's a little
athlete.
too bright.
It's
Look at that
glossy.
though.
That's a good stride, man.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, like a
Is that
like
warm-ups?
a damn gazelle. Look
Is
at
that a touchdown? Like what's going on there?
What do you,
No, they never threw.
do you got your ankles wrapped up there? What do you got going on down there?
Yeah, I had some ankle tape.
Yeah.
Some ankle braces.
Must
See,
be nice to be able to afford that.
Yeah, the
did I ever tell you guys
No,
the
dude.
story?
No. I just went up to the Eckerd or Rite Aid or whatever and just found the first brace I could. Just threw it down in my shoe.
Once we were
Probably the wrong thing.
once when I was in high school, which, by the way, Friday Night Lights are about to be ignited once again. I am so excited.
I got to watch Friday Night Lights. Every August, I watch the movie just to get my mind right. I haven't watched it yet.
Only way to be, son. We were in the state semifinals, and we were playing Lebanon High School, and my buddy Rayfield Milton and I thought it would be a good idea to spat our cleats with athletic tape before we ran out onto the football field, and we did so. We ran out onto the football field for warm-ups, and our head coach promptly walked over, cussed us blue, and told us we were going to go back in the locker room, cut the tape off, and pay the school back for wasting the tape. And then I promptly got smoked by a guy named Aaron Fuller who had like 240 yards and 3 touchdowns receiving right on my head. Yep. All right, on that note, let's chat with a much better defender than me. Devin White from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, again an LSU legend. Cowboy, not a Dallas Cowboy. Here's Devin White on the Marty Smith Podcast.
It's an absolute pleasure to welcome Tampa Bay Buccaneer linebacker, All-Pro Super Bowl champion, LSU Tiger. Forever. Look at that head, Bob. I love it. Y'all never graduate from down that way, bro. And we'll get into all that. I mean, look at what I wore this, man. Look at that. Hester sent me this shirt. So I just want to start with LSU. I want to know what you believe Brian Kelly's potential is, and I want you to share with the listeners and whatnot what advice you would give him about what makes that program different.
Yeah, I think the potential for Brian Kelly is very high. You know, just taking the magnitude of a school such as Notre Dame, you know, not taking none away from them, but they not LSU, but they was always in the big games. And to be able to still take talent that's not, you know, SEC talent, in my opinion, and make it to the big game says a lot about the guy who is overhead of the program, which is Brian Kelly. So, I mean, the sky's the limit in my eyes for him. But, you know, it's always going to be harder to do it in that conference that he in now, which is the SEC. But he's at the right school to do it. You know, I feel like he can get a lot of talent. But I think the thing is to be able to get over the hump and stay over the hump is he got to be LSU through and through, and players got to want to just get it all for him. I think that's always the behold of everything. You know, just everybody, you know, want to come there and want to represent that boot, you know, because, I mean, obviously, man, it's a different type of love down there. And once they feel it and they winning and, you know, everything is going, you know, the way they want it to go, I think, man, the sky's the limit for them.
I would imagine you and your teammates from there, of course, you play with one in Leonard, but y'all probably have a text string or some sort of correspondence together. How did everybody react when he was named the head coach?
I mean, I think, it was normal. Like, you know, obviously, LSU, they're going to try to always put themselves in the best position to win. You know, I think that's the only thing that matters. That's why, you know, the NFL veterans, they always going back, you know, pouring money into the school, you know, just being a voice. I seen the Honey Badger when it spent days with them in they camp. And, I mean, it's just to show you, like, how much everybody want to see Louisiana succeed. You know, whether you playing in Louisiana still or if you with another team in the NFL, you always want to see LSU do good.
This is going to be maybe the hardest question you answer during camp this year. Who is the greatest LSU Tiger of all time? And you can't say yourself.
Oh, most definitely. Not being biased, I wouldn't say myself. For me, it's got to be Tom Matthews. You know, and he had a short career there. He played 2 years. You know, but man, if you turn on the tape, that guy was a beast, and you know he had that mindset, and that every Tiger should want to play. Like, you know, he always hunting when he was on the field, and when he was in college, man, he did it better than everybody. But not only on defense, he played special teams as well, and was a dog. And man, the way he could force turnovers, man, I think, man, you put a highlighted heels on, you make it want to go run through a wall. So, my opinion, you know, I say Tyrann Mathieu, the best Tiger to ever play.
Okay, one more greatest ever question. 2019 LSU Tigers. Where do they rank among the greatest college football teams of all time?
I gotta put them number one. You know, they beat everybody. You know, who was beating everybody. You know, they beat Clemson, they beat Alabama. So every team that was beating teams and had been on the top, they beat them. So, man, and I feel like all those guys, they had a lot of pro guys on that team, and those guys are playing very well in the NFL now. So that let you know, like, that was a well put together team. So I say they're the number one team. And then, you know, the other teams come after them, you know, from back that had good teams like the Miami team and the USC team. But I think they number one for sure.
You had such a tremendous career in Baton Rouge. You've had such a tremendous career already, even though you're still so young in the league. When you got to the league, what was the greatest jump? What part of the game, whether it's preparation, speed, whatever, was the biggest difference for you personally?
I think the biggest jump from college to the NFL is just preparation, like, you know, being pro ready, you know what's going on, understanding concepts of the NFL, because, you know, what you can make up with pure speed in college, you can't do it in the NFL, like, because everything is on the stream. You know, college linebacker, you know, the timing and stuff is not as the same as it is in the NFL. Like, NFL quarterbacks really got a time clock going off in their head. Well, college people, I'm gonna make a play, I'm gonna make something, I'm gonna run around, you know, scramble. I think the NFL is like clockwork. So I say preparation.
It's interesting. You said it a moment ago. The SEC West is the greatest division in the best league in college football.
Yes.
So I imagine your preparation might have been a bit more advanced than some of the guys that you come to the league with or play with. How do you think that playing at LSU was preparation for you in terms of the NFL? Were you more ready maybe than some other guys might be?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we do. You know, we play the same guys to the league. And when you get there, they're gonna tell you that. Like, you come here, yeah, we want you to stay 4 years, but that's why they also put you on a 3-year graduating plan as well. Because when you come play at LSU, it's always going to be potentially you can leave in 3. So I say we very pro ready. You know, the transition to the NFL as far as body, you know, style of play, it was easy. That's why I said everything was more mental, you know, just sharpening the mental tools up to be able to play in the NFL.
My dog says hi. When you have so much success entering the NFL like you did so young, how does it redefine goals? How does it redefine what you want to become as a player when you win a Super Bowl, you're all pro in just the first couple years in the league?
I think it just makes you hungry. I think for me, it's always about being consistent. You know, that was my thing in training camp. You know, I got it big everywhere. It's just to be consistent. Because it's easy to do it one time, but can you be all pro again? Can you go win another Super Bowl? Can you make the Pro Bowl again? You know, can you get Player of the Week again and again? Or are you just going to do it one time out of 17 games? Can you do it again? So I think that's my thing, is being consistent with playing at a high level, hold myself to a high standard very consistently, doing it over and over. And now you're starting to put yourself in that elite category, which, you know, everybody want to be in, but everybody don't take the steps to get to it. So I think it's just about, you know, holding myself accountable to do it again and again.
What's the most important thing you've learned from Tom Brady?
As a player, to don't worry about accolades, go chase the ring. Yeah.
What about as a man?
as a man, man, he always talk about, just family. How much he played the game, but how much he still put his family and how family is important to him. Because a lot of people can get caught up in being an NFL player that they still forget, like, you're still a human being when you leave out these doors.
You continue to give back home all the time. Why is it important for you to remain entrenched back home?
Oh, man. Just because, God blessed me, so why not bless others? I feel like it's my calling. Like, he didn't just, put me in a great position just to be selfish and be all me, me, me. I feel like he put me in a position to help others and, be a blessing, make others smile, help back home. And now I transition. I'm helping in Florida as much as I can. So, I just feel like I was put on this earth to be a server. Man, I'm just trying to make everything around me better. Turn a couple smiles upside down, and turn them into. Turn a couple frowns upside down to smiles. So I think I'm doing a good job, and I'm continuing to do more and more as much as I can. But also leaving myself enough time to focus on myself as well. But I'm doing as much as I can, being a blessing as much as I can.
When you do focus on yourself, what's the goal or the process?
Oh man, just to be mentally sane. I think always a lot of pressure on my shoulders. Want to do this, want to do that, want to do this. Got to be here, got to do that. I think the goal is always to be mentally sane. Talking to people, making sure that my mind is in a good space. And so far in life, I've been doing good. I'm glad I got on it early. And that's just talking to older guys and seeing how they prep and the things they like to focus on. So I'm good.
I saw an Instagram post that you had, and it's a twofold question. I'll start with the message that was in there, that you're so glad that you have made your way through the hard times. You're so grateful that you've come out the other side of those. Define that for me on a more specific plane, Devin. What was it that you were able to manage your way through?
I'll just say, just growing up, everybody watch TV, everybody watch, people, whether it's fake or not, living such a good life, all the glitz and the glamour and all that. And, man, coming where I'm from, it's not all that. I say it's more rugged where I'm from, it ain't a lot of just glamour everywhere. And that's kind of what I mean, just having to grow up, not my own bathroom, not my own bedroom, just stuff like that. I just feel like that was a hard time, coming up. And everybody got a sad story, but, work harder, and that's the main point I'll be trying to emphasize when I always talk about, coming from that. It's like, hey, what you came through and where you don't want to go back to. So, keep working. It's just a mental note to myself to just keep working so I don't ever have to go back, to living how I used to live or, just being able to go do what I want to do when I want to do it. It's just a reminder to just keep working hard.
Which also goes back to being present in the community that you came from, because it is so valuable, no matter your background, for those young people to see somebody who looks like them, who grew up in a similar way to they are, being so successful. What is the value of that when you can see somebody like you doing it?
Yeah, I think the value is very high, because being where I'm from is a very small town. Like, you probably can't name 5 people, maybe 3 people that come from, where I'm from and just doing something successful nationwide. Like, kids everywhere know who Devin White is. But, when I go back and preach to them, I always tell them about the journey. Like, they see me now, but this just didn't happen overnight. You try to, tell them the process so they can hone in on basically school, just being a hard worker and being a respectful kid in the community. One thing, growing up, people I always tell you, like, he was a respectful kid. He could come to my house. He could come eat at my house. He could come spend a night at my house. And just trying to instill that into the younger generation when they see me, I think that's very important.
It is extremely important. And the other thing that I wanted to discuss about that one post is I think you had on your Letterman jacket in that post. How in the hell do you still fit in that thing?
Hey, man.
You white as a truck now, man.
Hey, we just getting stronger, man. Everything still fit, Actually, probably slimmer from the old days, from high school days and stuff. I was eating a lot of steaks and stuff. Everybody was taking me out, to dinner now, their dietitian, right?
So how has your diet changed?
Man, just eat more cleaner, processing what I take in. You know, I'm more so of a smoothie guy now. I like to drink a lot of smoothies, get a lot of protein from smoothies. You know, kind of no burgers. I don't never partake in burgers anymore. You know, since the NFL. So, I mean, I know health is wealth, and you know, I want to be wealthy. So I got to make sure the health right.
When you're at the level you're already playing at, I wonder what areas do you look at and say, hey, I want to be better here? What are those areas?
I say finishing tackles. You know, I'm so fast, just you know, slowing down and gaining momentum to make tackles. And I feel like zone concepts and you know, I've always been a man-to-man. Put me on that person, I'm gonna lock them down. So now I feel like I gotta take the next step is learning route concepts, playing zone, learning fire zones and quarters and whatever, you know, quarter, half, whatever defense we playing that's not man-to-man. Learning it and anticipating things on the field so I can just take that next step and being an elite linebacker.
All right, I know a lot of people talk about you and the horse thing, but I got to admit I'm pretty fascinated by this.
Yeah.
How were you introduced to horses?
Yeah. Type in Con Valley, look at the population, maybe less than 1,000 people. But man, just all around the town, that's what people do. I still have horses in Louisiana. Hell, I even come from practice with a picture of horses passing the school, and people's like, hey, are these your horses that's out, or do you know who they belong to? And that's just to let you know, like, you know, man, it's crazy. There's horses everywhere, every side of town. It's just what we do. You know, horses is like the #1 hobby where I'm from. You know, we don't have a bowling alley. We don't have a movie theater. Like, we don't have a skating ring in our town. So we don't have a recreation center in our town. So it's like, what else can we do? So I think horses became big, and that's kind of one of the reasons why, because it's the fun you can do. You can go ride throughout the whole neighborhood, throughout the whole town. Nobody says nothing. Cars actually respect you on horseback up in my town. So it's just something that everybody just grow to love, man. I got a 2-year-old son, and that's all he want to do is go to the barn.
And Get Live Stables. You got how many horses you got?
Probably 30. Probably 30.
Amazing, man. I just think that's so cool. And I appreciate your time. I know we got to let you run. Thank you for joining us right in the middle of camp, brother. So impressed with your career, and more than that, your spirit. You have a beautiful spirit for other people. Thank you for being a servant leader. And best of luck to you guys this season. If y'all don't win the Super Bowl, man, I'll have to be calling you. All right?
All right, Marty. Appreciate you having me, man. Have a good day. God bless.
Devon's already had an amazing career. You heard him say it there. It's so true. We say it a lot. It's one thing to write your first record. It's a whole different challenge to write the next one. And that's kind of where he is. He said it. Do not settle. Do not rest. Continue to push to find an even better version of what is already an all-pro career, a Super Bowl championship career. And they're definitely going to have an opportunity to do it again with Tom Brady and with Devon and everybody involved down there in Tampa. They have great leadership, and when your best players are your best leaders, that's a very, very special equation, very special opportunity. And it's obvious that he realizes that.
He's just one of those dudes that he's a great player, but even just a better person.
Great
man.
guy.
And even if you are, even if you're a Saints fan or Panthers fan, it's hard to root against Devin White. He's just an awesome dude, and we need at some point to get you down there and you and him ride horses and do something together.
He's like a damn cowboy, man.
He is a cowboy. I loved what he said. That I've always been intrigued by that. I remember when he was at LSU, I was this close to doing a feature for College Game Day or Sports Center, somebody on Devon and how much he loves horses, and it never did materialize. But I love that. That's who we are. That's where we're from. That's what you do where I grew up. And I love that he carries that with him, because one of the things that people where you come from appreciate is when you carry it with you. And he's absolutely doing that. Not only is he carrying that with him, he's also giving back to it. And I appreciate that philanthropic spirit It is important. And, like right now, I'm in the process of working towards a way to help out Southwest Virginia. That area that I grew up in, not my hometown specifically or my home county, but all the way down there towards Tennessee and a lot of places in Kentucky, all throughout Appalachia, have been just so impacted, so deeply impacted by all of this flooding recently. And a lot of those folks need help. They need help financially. They need help with infrastructure. They need help rebuilding and reclaiming their normal. And I desperately want to help, and I am working through right now some ways to do that. Certainly we can raise money, and that is an option, but we would also like to go much further than simply handing over a check. But appreciate Devin. Thank you so much to him for sharing his spirit. Good luck to him, Tom, and everybody involved down there this year, putting up with our boy Jeff Darlington. I love you, Jeff. I do. So before we get out of here, Travis has some beef with me, and I don't know what it is. He's been blowing up my phone, texting me constantly.
What's going on?
What's your problem, man?
So on Saturday, it was you and Roman Harp was filling in for McGee, and you were talking about your I-95 trek home and your snacks.
Yeah.
And the drink of choice that you went with, it might be the worst pick. You went with chocolate milk for a road trip, Marty.
What's wrong with that? I love chocolate milk.
Man, I feel like that would put me to sleep.
Yeah, that's like you just
I
want
need
to
a nap, bro.
You want to know the very best recovery drink that there is for endurance training. You want to know? Take a guess.
Yeah, it's chocolate milk, and that is like pure propaganda from Big Chocolate Milk. You actually believe that?
I not only believe it, I incorporate it. Inject it into my veins, Wesley.
Okay. I know this is Travis's beef, but I'm starting to beef a little bit on this too now.
Join my beef.
That is not an endurance. Ew. That is not an endurance recovery. What are you recovering from?
If you had it when you got home from the trip, that'd
from
be one
driving
thing.
on I-95?
How do y'all, dude? I didn't leave Ocean City till 12:30 in the afternoon. Some of us get on the grind early.
All right.
No, and then you.
I don't understand how you don't have any caffeine in there.
Well, that's because I've already had my 2 cups of coffee in the morning.
All right.
I was gonna. So I will say this. One thing that I very rarely participate in is caffeinated drinks from Chick-fil-A. I don't do soda and all that
stuff.
stuff.
You rarely participate in that.
However, stopped at Chick-fil-A in Harrisonburg, Virginia, down the street from James Madison University. Got my kids all their strip meals and their lemonades. Chick-fil-A lemonade's the truth.
It's the best.
Yeah. But I did participate in Chick-fil-A sweet tea because I wanted to make sure that I could be awake and get us all the way home. Chick-fil-A sweet tea, holy guacamole. It is very, very, very sweet. Nothing compared to Bojangles, though. Y'all ever had Bojangles sweet tea?
Yeah.
That's the GOAT.
You got to cut that down with some unsweet.
Bojangles sweet tea is the GOAT. It's like a sweet tea popsicle. It is unbelievably sweet.
Oh,
Speaking
should
of,
we make those? Does anyone make those?
Sweet tea popsicles?
Dude, you might be onto something
Definitely
there, Marty.
onto something. I mean, everybody loves sweet tea vodka drinks now.
That is.
Speaking of the Chick-fil-A lemonade, a lot of times what I'll do
I didn't think about that.
is I'll get a lemonade, wait and take it home, take a few sips,
Pour Tito's in it.
add some vodka to it. I mean, that lemonade is undefeated.
Dripping
Though,
Springs.
Actually, I take it back.
I think we actually made it this far into the episode without one of y'all talking about drinking. So that's a first.
I will say, though, Chick-fil-A's lemonade currently is undefeated, but you remember the Country Time lemonade in the can?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That stuff would get you.
They sponsored Michael Waltrip's
Like,
race car in 1994,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
of course,
That was great. That was great branding.
Number 30 car.
But yeah, your guys' snacks. I forget, what were your snacks again? You went like a Reese's. That's
Yeah,
not a.
Reese's
That's not a.
Cup.
if you're driving, that's not that's an awful decision.
That's a lot of chocolate.
What about an
That's-
oatmeal
that's
cream
also-
pie?
No, that's not. That's another awful decision to have for if you're driving.
Laney likes combos.
Yes, combos is a good one because why? The fingers stay clean, but it also there's many of them.
kind of get that dust. You get that dust though.
Could I just repeat that Travis has some obsessive compulsive tendencies? The very first criteria that came out of his mouth was your fingers stay clean. That was the criteria.
When you're driving, you got your hand on the wheel,
Bro,
and also the
you
combos.
drive a
You
Hyundai
need a little
Excel.
bit of sweet. You need a little bit of
Like,
sweet. And a little
calm
bit.
down. Calm down with your hand on the wheel stuff. By the way, how's your ride doing? What was the diagnosis?
It was a broken tire rod.
I told you.
Oh,
I called
dude.
it. I knew
How
it.
did they get that thing out, man?
Dude,
Travis had his car stuck in a parking deck.
It took so.
How did they
long.
do it, man? Did they like do the wrecking ball and helicopter it out? What happened?
The process started at 8 a.m. At 4 p.m., I was able to get one of those just like lift trucks where they just lift the front two tires. Luckily, his lights
flatbed?
collapsed. No, because a flatbed wouldn't work.
It's a giant forklift.
No, just the one where like the truck and the old school kind of tow trucks.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, luckily, his lights were collapsible, so those got knocked down, and he just fit through. And then once we got it out, he goes, "I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous a couple times."
Well, I mean, I'm glad that the Hyundai Excel is back in operational
Yeah.
order.
You need a chocolate milk after that, man. That's a
Definitely
lot.
need some combo, some clean finger combos and a Nesquik.
No, you gotta get yourself a pop of some kind, some combos, maybe some like sour watermelons, like.
Yeah, you need a little sweet and a little savory, like some Doritos and some
And a snack
peanut
that'll last.
M&Ms. Like
you
you
need a
got to
snack
mix
that'll
that
last
up. You got
long.
to cover your bases.
The Reese's will be
All
gone
right,
too
so
fast.
what
You need a
is
snack that
your-
can-
My other one is Skittles, because like Skittles are the GOAT. Skittles are amazing. Did you? I don't know if you guys saw the Marty McGee program, but I was talking to Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, who's an avid runner, about when I ran the Boston Marathon in 2014. I ran the Boston Marathon with a bag of Skittles in my pocket, and every couple miles I would put in a marginal mouthful of Skittles, half chew them, and position them in my lip, in my
Put in like
lower
a
lip,
Skittles horseshoe.
like a dip of snuff. And all that sugar.
Dude, that's like if Willy Wonka invented a dip.
Well, yeah.
That's what he would do.
All these dudes, all these ladies and gentlemen who are endurance athletes use goo. They use, gels and all this stuff to get electrolytes into their body. I mean, I use Skittles, and you can feel your blood infused with the simple sugar. Now, granted, it lasts about a minute and a half, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
tastes really good. And if you have enough of them, it can carry you through. So that's what I did. And Commissioner Sankey was not at all impressed. He's never tried that before.
Oh, I was expecting that to go a lot
Shocker.
differently.
He may,
Shocking.
you never know. He may incorporate it. He may just go, you know what, when I go out for my 5K, man's ran 5 miles, or the man has run more than 3 miles for like 2.5 straight
Yeah.
years every day.
He's like Forrest Gump, but he's just staying still.
Let's see if I'm trying to think. I'm trying to find the number. The last time he stopped counting, I can't find it though.
Been a long time. While Travis does research, a lot of you guys have inquired about the hat on my head. This is our brand new Outsider. Let me get nice and close. Sunday Money hat. We designed these after. So my little NASCAR column I do on Outsiders called Sunday Money. And I asked Dale Jr. if he was okay if I used that title, because the reason that I love it it was what Big E named his yacht. Big E's yacht was named Sunday Money. It's also a Brooks and Dunn song, very inspired in very similar means. And so we start writing this column, and a lot of people think it's cool, and a lot of people love the logo. So Andy Johnson got right on it and ordered a whole bunch of hats. There's this one that has a dark blue trucker back and a red rope. And the one that I love is my high school colors. It is red bill, Carolina blue trucker mesh back, and Carolina blue rope. It is awesome. And you guys can get those real soon in the Outsider store, shop.outsider.com, along with our brand new coffee, which I tried for the first time yesterday. I tried the light roast from Papua New Guinea. How do you say that?
Papua New Guinea.
Papa?
Yeah.
Okay. Papua New Guinea. It is really good. I enjoyed it. So you guys can also get Outsider Coffee there in the store, shop.outsider.com. Wes's hat is on there. We have a cornucopia of different lids from which you can choose. We have hoodies on there, T-shirts. So go on there, shop.outsider.com, and find you something you like.
Yeah, we got something else coming soon, too, I believe.
We do have something else coming very soon. That is gratis beer. We have begun the process of promoting gratis beer. Travis has a – oh, wait a minute. I just ripped my headphones out of my deal. Hold on. All right, I can hear again. You can see there. That's what our can looks like. Travis is holding that up. It will debut. It's already debuted. I saw on Andy's Instagram –
I tried it last
he
week.
already ordered some in a Nashville bar. So in September, it will be distributed throughout Nashville. That's where we're going to launch the beer because that's where Outsider is based. They're in Nashville, Music City, Tennessee. So y'all ask for it by name, Gratis Beer.
Yep, gratisbeer.com.
We are continuing to expand the Outsider palette. Again, we have all kinds of goodies. Our coffee is on shop.outsider.com. 3 different types right now, including a decaf option. We have all our hats, including the Sunday Money option. I hope you guys go get that hat. I love it. Hope you do too. And a lot of y'all have asked. I wore it playing cornhole during ESPN the Ocho, and a lot of you guys reached out asking where you could get it. That's where you can get it very soon, shop.outsider.com.
Before we go, speaking of Sunday Money, can we briefly talk about Kevin Harvick?
I told you. I wrote it this week. First of all, I wrote it a couple weeks ago before he won at Michigan Speedway that, you never know. There's been so many different drivers win now. There's been 15 different drivers win. There's 2 races to go as we sit here in the NASCAR regular season at Watkins Glen, New York next week, and then at Daytona International Speedway the following week, the regular season finale. And Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex are embroiled in a hell of a battle trying to see who's going to get that last spot. Or will somebody else maybe win? But I said it a couple weeks ago on Sunday Money that Kevin Harvick is one of those guys. He and Rodney Childers, they've been together nearly They've been together nearly a decade now. And be careful in there. It's Wild West out there, boys. Been together about a decade now, and they're champions. And it's a brand new race car. Sometimes you don't hit it right off the bat. You got to massage on that race car. You got to work. You got to try things. You see what works, what doesn't. And they've methodically gotten faster and faster. We saw it at Pocono. And then he shows up and wins Michigan. And I wrote last week on Sunday Money, a lot of you guys read it, a lot of you guys had plenty to say about it, that they're one of those duos, they get one, they're like some hungry sharks, man. That blood's in the water, those guys go, and they start feasting. And what did they do? They turned right around. They win Richmond on Sunday. They've won 2 in a row, and they are skyrocketing up the playoff standings chart.
How worried do you think some of these drivers are that, a former champion is on this run right now and he's with his crew chief that they've been with together? Like, do you think there's some drivers that are like, oh crap?
I don't know that they're worried. I don't know if worried is the right word, but it's definitely like,
you got to take notice.
Here we go. Everybody out there knows this about them. It had been 65 races since Harvick won prior to Michigan. And I loved what he said after that race. I loved what he said. he defines pressure differently than everybody else. He had pressure that none of us can fathom, that being when Dale Earnhardt died in turn 4 of the 2001 Daytona 500, Kevin Harvick was handed the keys to the 3 and was charged with leading that race team in NASCAR's darkest hour in a time when everybody was in shock. And y'all know how I feel about Dale Jr. I've said it on this show before. But Kevin also deserves so much credit for, he put that team in victory lane in his 3rd start at Atlanta Motor Speedway and went around the racetrack with 3 fingers in the air. And it was so cathartic to so many millions of people, and certainly for that race team. Chocolate Myers and all those guys. Richard Childress. And so here they are. I mean, it's they're going to be formidable because now they have confidence that they know how to manipulate this race car, and Kevin is more comfortable in the race car, and Rodney knows what Kevin wants in the race car, and that's a very scary thing for the other competitors. Worried, I don't know if that's the right word, but oh damn, here they come, is absolutely part of this. And you know, again, they're going to the Glen and then to Daytona to close out the regular season before the playoff begins. But been an amazing season so far in the Cup Series, a transformational year, and that's only going to continue once we get deep into the playoff here to see who emerges as the NASCAR champion before they go to Nashville, Tennessee to celebrate at the season-ending award ceremony, which some people may or may not be involved in. That is TBD. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you so much to Moultrie. Thank you so much to everybody involved who helps make this thing happen. Wesley, I appreciate you. Travis, I appreciate you. Thanks so much to Devin White.
Likewise.
For offering us his time and his spirit. It's beautiful. Thank you to our law enforcement officials all over the country working so hard to keep our community safe. Fire and rescue, thank you for your heroism. And the United States military, thank you so much for your sacrifice to these United States. We are free, and we are so grateful for that freedom. It is vital. We have to respect it. We have to appreciate it. And I know everybody here at Outsider certainly does. Thank you guys for your service. That's the Marty Smith Podcast. Y'all have a good one. See you next week.